Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Bachelor Nation News fans. Juliana Pasquarosa and Litia Garr both thought Grant Ellis was their future husband on The Bachelor, but it turns out they were both wrong. Juliana and Grant got engaged during the season finale, but have since broken up. They announced earlier this month that the engagement is over and they're going their separate ways. Litia and Juliana feuded a bit after the show because of Litia's claims that Grant was going to propose to her. However, the two seemed to bury the hatchet. Juliana's latest post shading Litia reunited the feud. Keep reading to find out what's going on. Litia Garr releases merch, a viral Bachelor quote. Litia Garr arrived at the final rose ceremony believing that she was about to get engaged. She gave a long speech about her feelings for Grant, but she didn't get the response she was expecting. Instead of proposing, Grant Ellis told her she wasn't the one for him and dumped her. Fans were shocked by Litia's immediate change in tone. When he said he hoped she didn't think of him differently, she tersely replied, "Come on now." The phrase immediately went viral. Litia Garr decided to capitalize on that by dropping a new line of merchandise with the phrase, "Come on now," trucker hats. One of the hats has "Gaslight Survivor" under the catchphrase. Litia admitted after the show that she felt gaslighted by Grant, denying that he implied to her that he was going to propose. However, the two seemed to bury the hatchet. Juliana's latest post shading Litia reunited the feud. Keep reading to find out what's going on. Juliana Pasquarosa hints at reason for Grant Ellis split. Juliana Pasquarosa has her own line of merchandise. She created a brand called the Nice Girl label with her sister. The brand released sweatshirts and sweatpants after the Bachelor season ended. Since the breakup with Grant, Juliana has posted several beach photos, seemingly unbothered by the split. In one recent photo, she wore a trucker hat with the word "marriage material" on it. Some fans thought she was hinting at the reason why she broke up with Grant, but others thought the hat was a direct hit against Litia. Fans think she's shading Litia, reigniting the feud. Is it a coincidence that Juliana posted a photo wearing a trucker hat with a saying on it around the same time Litia dropped a line of trucker hats? Bachelor Nation fans don't believe in coincidences. They took to social media to call Juliana out for shading Litia. The feud between the two had finally cooled off, but Juliana's shady post could reunite it. One fan wrote, "She's shading Litia 1,000%. Another fan wasn't sure about the shade, but was sure about the fashion choice. "Even if this isn't shade, which I don't know if it is, it's just hacky as hell to wear," they wrote. A third fan predicted that things would never be okay between Juliana and Litia. She and Litia are going to be shading each other for the foreseeable future. Do you think Juliana was shading Litia with the marriage material hat? Or was it a message to her ex?
Sound off. Juliana Pasquarosa shades Litia Garr, reignites feud. What really happened after the final rose? After the final rose, but before the peace. The finale of The Bachelor Season 29 left Bachelor Nation stunned. Grant Ellis gave his final rose to Juliana Pasquarosa, leaving fan favorite Litia Garr in tears. While the live audience gasped, viewers had barely begun to absorb the heartbreak when the After the Final Rose special dropped another bombshell. Juliana, radiant in a crimson silk dress and icy cool demeanor, tossed what appeared to be a carefully calculated jab at Litia that left the internet ablaze. What began as a subtle smirk quickly unraveled into a shade-laced saga, and by the end of the night, Juliana and Litia were trending side by side for all the wrong reasons. The smirk seen around the world. Juliana and Grant took their seats on the After the Final Rose couch, all smiles and clasped hands. Jesse Palmer lobbed softball questions until the topic shifted to Litia Garr. Some fans felt Litia was blindsided. Grant, you had strong feelings for her. Juliana, did you ever worry she might have been the one? The room fell silent. Grant glanced at Juliana. That's when it happened. Juliana gave a tight smile, cocked her head, and delivered what would become the most replayed line of the night. "Well, I'm just glad Grant wanted a woman, not a life coach." The audience froze. The Twitterverse exploded. Litia fans weren't just offended, they were outraged. The term life coach was a pointed reference to Litia's nurturing, emotionally intelligent communication style, praised by some, patronized by others. Within minutes, hashtags like Justice for Litia and Juliana the Shade Queen began trending simultaneously. Litia strikes back. Gracefully. True to her polished demeanor, Litia didn't respond immediately, but when she did, it was with the kind of shade that doesn't need punctuation. On Instagram, she posted a photo of herself seated on a sunny balcony, latte in hand, wearing a beige blazer and sunglasses, with the caption, "Coaching myself into peace because not everyone knows how to regulate emotions in heels." Boom. Juliana fans clapped back, calling Litia's post passive-aggressive. Litia supporters cheered it as classy shade. And Bachelor Nation, they were divided and obsessed. Juliana's confessional bombshell. In an exclusive interview with Bachelor Unfiltered, Juliana didn't hold back. Sitting cross-legged in a Manhattan studio, she addressed the feud head-on. "I'm tired of being labeled the villain because I don't cry every time a camera is on. Grant and I were building something real, and every time we had a breakthrough, someone was coaching him like he was a TED Talk away from loving her." Host Natalie Klein raised an eyebrow. "You mean Litia?" Juliana sipped from her sparkling water. "I didn't say it, but if the shoe fits." The internet erupted again. Fans began dissecting every moment from the season, every glance, every disagreement, every rose ceremony, for signs of growing tension between the final two women. The feud origins. Rewind to week 6. Insiders began leaking behind-the-scenes drama from earlier in the season. According to an anonymous producer, the friction between Juliana and Litia began during week 6's group date, a rustic lake house retreat where the women had to pair off and complete challenges with Grant. Juliana, fiercely competitive, was paired with Litia for a trust-building exercise that included blindfolds and guided movement. While Litia took the lead calmly, Grant kept laughing at Juliana's hesitancy. "She's not used to not being in control," Litia joked, earning laughs from the group. Juliana wasn't amused. According to sources, she later told producers, "This isn't yoga class. I'm here to win a man, not teach breath work." ABC never aired the exchange, but the tension was real and never fully subsided. The podcast heard around the nation. Litia, ever the diplomat, appeared on Caitlin Bristow's podcast 2 weeks later and tried to steer clear of name-calling. "People heal and love differently. I just believe love isn't a competition, it's a connection." Caitlin, ever the instigator, pushed her. "But do you think Juliana's connection was real?" Litia hesitated. "I think some people fall in love with the camera as much as they do with the person." And just like that, the feud ignited once more. Grant Ellis breaks his silence. Bachelor Nation waited for Grant's response like it was the season finale. Would he side with his fiancée or step in to stop the fire? He finally addressed the feud on Bachelor Happy Hour with Becca Kufrin. "I care deeply for both women," Grant said carefully, "but I fell in love with Juliana. That doesn't mean Litia wasn't incredible, but Juliana challenged me. She pushed me." Becca pressed. "Do you think Juliana went too far?" Grant sighed. "I think emotions were high, but the women didn't always get to see what we had off camera. People can make judgments, but only we know what's real." Diplomatic? Yes. Diffusing? Not quite. Fashion Week face-off. If fans needed visual proof that the feud wasn't cooling off, they got it during New York Fashion Week. Both women were invited to a charity gala and seated 2 tables apart. Juliana stunned in a black cutout gown. Litia, radiant in gold silk, spent the night surrounded by former contestants. When asked if she'd greet Litia, she told Page 6, "We're not enemies, we just don't brunch." Litia, later approached by a fan, simply said, "Some people want followers, I want fulfillment." And just like that, another viral quote was born. ABC's official response and damage control. As the feud raged on, ABC execs reportedly grew concerned. While ratings had spiked, the network feared the drama would eclipse future casting efforts. Insiders claim they reached out to both Juliana and Litia, asking them to cool it publicly. Juliana responded with a now-deleted tweet, "I didn't start this, I'm just fluent in finishing." Litia remained silent, but her next IG post featured her meditating on a mountaintop with the caption, "I'm too aligned to be dragged." Bachelor Nation took sides. Again. Unexpected reconciliation or more smoke? During the Women Tell All reunion filming, audiences were shocked to learn that Juliana and Litia shared a private 10-minute conversation backstage. ABC didn't air the footage, but multiple leaks suggested the conversation included apologies, laughs, and even a hug. But when asked about it during the live taping, Juliana shrugged. "We said what we needed to, doesn't mean we're braiding each other's hair now." Litia added, "Growth doesn't require friendship, just forgiveness." Was the feud over? Fans were split. Some saw the exchange as a mature truth. Others called it calculated PR. The merch war. Nothing says modern-day Bachelor feud like dueling merch lines. Juliana dropped her "Not a Life Coach" hoodie. Days later, Litia released "Love is Not a Competition" sweatshirts. Juliana's sold out in 24 hours. Litia's was promoted by fellow contestants, including 2 from past Bachelorette seasons. Influencers, reality stars, and even former Bachelor leads began posting coded responses, adding fuel to the flame, and Bachelor Nation, they loved every second of the mess. Where are they now? Juliana Pasquarosa is planning a destination wedding with Grant in Positano, Italy. She's launched a fashion blog and is rumored to be working on a beauty collab. Litia Garr has joined a wellness app startup as their official mindset strategist and is penning a book titled Heart First: Lessons from Love I Didn't Win. As for Grant, he said little, but a fan TikTok spotted him liking both Juliana and Litia's recent posts, prompting yet another storm of theories. One last shade. On Good Morning America, Juliana appeared for a lighthearted segment. When asked what advice she'd give to future contestants, she smiled. "Just be authentic and don't rehearse your vulnerability. It's not a TED Talk." It was a callback. It was deliberate. And yes, it was shade. Final thoughts. In the chaotic world of The Bachelor, love is only part of the journey. The real drama unfolds not just in rose ceremonies, but in the comments, the cryptic posts, the side eyes, and the not-so-subtle digs. Juliana and Litia may never be best friends. They may never even speak again. But together, they defined one of the most captivating postseason narratives Bachelor fans have ever seen. And if we're being honest, we'll all be watching when they cross paths again, because when shade and sparkle collide, Bachelor Nation thrives.